Welcome to the Realtor Who Wines podcast. I'm Rashelle Newmeyer, your hostess with the mostest, a student of life, a connector, a passionate wine enthusiast, and your local favorite guide. Join me as we explore the vibrant Pacific Northwest, savor the finest wines, and champion the spirit of entrepreneurship. Each episode, I'll sit down with inspiring guests, supporting business ownership, and uncovering the stories that make this community unique. So grab a glass of wine, settle in, and let's embark on a journey of discovery and connection together. Cheers!
Yeah, I lived in Germany for 3 years, fell in love with dry Riesling. But in the United States, I feel that most people around here only have experience with like a late harvest Riesling, and they've never had experience with a dry Riesling, and it's just so fun. So I specifically decided to do a pet nat with Riesling because I figured I could talk most people into trying Riesling if I tell them there's bubbles involved.
Yeah.
Which has been true. So, and I feel like it's been my goal to change people's minds about Riesling, and I feel like I'm getting there. But
yeah, I do like it. Still has the sweet notes that like somebody that likes a Riesling I think will enjoy, but it's not overpowering. And then the bubbles just make it refreshing, which I love. We dived right into the wine, but I'd love for you to introduce yourself to everybody before we go too far.
Yeah, my name's Cassandra Beldowicz. I am the owner and the winemaker for Corcilla Cellars. I started Corcilla in 22 after my husband and I moved to Portland in 21. I've been making wine for other people since 2016. But when my husband was in the military for a long time, so we moved a lot. And then he left the military, and we moved to Portland, and we were like, we're not moving anymore. So it seemed like a good time to start my own brand. So
yeah. You will have to tell your husband thank you very much for his service, and also thank you for supporting him, because I have been a military spouse, and it's not an easy job.
It's rough, right?
It is rough.
It is rough.
So thank you to both of you for
thanks.
your sacrifice and your commitment. So Corcilla Cellars, how did you come up with that name?
So Corcilla is Latin. It means the heart is the seat of intelligence. And then I was a nurse before I started making wine. So you can see on the bottle there's like an anatomical heart. So that's kind of where that comes from.
I love that.
My husband's actually the one who found the word Corcilla. I wanted something that was kind of based in the heart. And all the flowers on my logo, I also picked specifically for the meaning of the flowers.
Oh, I love that.
Everything's
so much thought.
Super intentional.
Yeah. Sometimes people are like, I just like seahorses, so we're the Seahorse Cafe, and then sometimes there's like a ton of thought that goes into it. I mean, my name, Realtor Rashelle, and the Realtor Who Wines is not very thoughtful, but it is what it is.
But it's catchy, and it also like it's
pretty self-explanatory.
Right? Yeah.
So talk a little bit about your journey. You said you've been making wine for others since 2016. How did you get into that?
That's a story.
I know. I'm excited to hear
that may be longer than the 30 minutes we have here. So I'll give the cliff notes. I was working as a labor and delivery nurse in Virginia and broke my arm and was out of work for like 6 weeks. And, it's hard to deliver babies with one arm. So
I can imagine, carry it like a Heisman or something, just shoot it this way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And when it was getting time for me to go back to work, I was like, this 6 weeks has been really great as just being a nurse is hard.
Well, I was going to say the mental break was probably refreshing.
The mental break was great. And so I talked to my husband, and we decided that I wasn't going to go back to work. We were going to be living there for less than a year anyway, so I was just going to have a longer mental break. And I started taking some WSET classes, which are wine classes, kind of in the sommelier range, just for fun, to fill my time. Fell in love with it. Was super obsessed, studying 4 hours a day at the Panera down the road.
Oh my gosh,
like drawing maps of Bordeaux. And my husband would come home and I'd be like, do you know what a double cordon vine is? It was.
He's like, no.
Yeah. He was not as interested as me. And then we moved to Kansas, and it ended up we were going to be in Kansas for less than a year. So it didn't make sense for me. We were at Leavenworth.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He was doing he wasn't there for prison. He was there for...
Yeah, there's a base there. Yeah.
He was doing a...
Plot twist.
Army school. Yeah, plot twist. No, he was doing an Army school there. And so I actually there was a community college there that did a winemaking degree program. Mm-hmm. So I started taking classes doing that. Made my first wine in my basement in Kansas. It was Merlot. It was a 5-gallon bucket of Merlot that I got, frozen Merlot grapes from Washington.
I was going to say, there's not a lot of Merlot grapes in the Kansas region.
No. There's other grapes, and
Yes.
they're all disgusting. But
They're different. They are known for the Concord, which is more for grape juice. But actually, Concord wine is like, so you live there. Concord wine's very popular in the Midwest. It's a gateway wine.
It's something. But yeah, and then at that time, my husband and I had won an auction to have wine with a winemaker in Napa.
Oh, cool.
So we went out. We had a great time. Went out to dinner with this guy and his wife. He was so kind. Because at this point, I was like so excited to nerd out with him, right? Mm-hmm. And I know he was probably thinking like, "Oh my God, this girl."
Let me tell you about my Merlot.
Yeah, exactly.
That's adorable.
Yeah, but he was so kind, and he actually told me, he's like, we use harvest interns every year. Just let me know if you're ever in California.
Oh, I love that.
And then from there, my husband actually, we got stationed in California for a fellowship that my husband was doing at UC Davis. And so literally 5 minutes after we got the email that we were going to California, I was emailing Rob saying, "I'm coming.
Can I please be your intern."
Yeah, and he was just like, "Cool, see you in August." And that was it.
I love
and then
that.
So I worked harvest for them, and it was just supposed to be harvest, but I ended up afterwards being hired on as part of their production
Which
team.
vineyard or winery was that?
Corcilla Cellars. Okay. Yeah, which is their winery spaces in Napa, but their tasting rooms in Yountville. Yeah, and I worked for them for just about 3 years as part of their production team. So it was great. And at that time, I also spent going back to school. I did the enology and viticulture certificate programs through Washington State. And it was during that whole time I decided I was not going to go back to healthcare.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, you're knee-deep in grapes.
Yeah,
Why would you go back?
Knee-deep. Yeah. That is the question. Why would you go back?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not in agriculture, but the part of the reason I wanted to do this podcast is I'm just fascinated by the wine industry and then even the agriculture part of it, and I just love it so much. And if I got to look at vines all day,
yeah,
I
the agriculture part is fascinating. I did a viticulture internship while I was in Napa as well. The last summer I was there, and it is such hard work, and grapevines are so fascinating.
And a lot more delicate than people realize. And then, like, depending on how you treat the vines and stuff, like if one vine gets sick, they can all get sick how you treat them. And also, a lot of people don't realize, unlike a lot of other crops that you can use machines to crop, grapes have to be handpicked or they get squished. Like, so it's just a lot of hands-on with the farming and then also the production for sure.
Yeah.
What did you learn your first 3 years? Like, what are some moments that, like, really stood out to you that, like, really, like, resonated in your education, like, hands-on learning? While you were interning type stuff.
Yeah. What really resonated with me? So my first harvest, I remember thinking everyone was running around. It was really hard work, like really physically hard work. I was working 70, 80 hours a week and cried multiple times my first harvest because I was so tired, but still waking up at 6 a.m. the next day, just really jazzed to go to work.
Yeah.
But I do remember thinking one day everyone was running around kind of freaking out about something, and I was just like, nobody's dying.
Right. Try delivering a baby.
It's fine, everybody.
That's so funny.
But yeah, I think I really developed, an appreciation for the vineyard workers. They're incredibly hardworking, very talented, especially in the wine industry. I think they get lost in the story.
Totally.
So I think that was a big part of what I learned. It was great to be going to school while working at a winery because some of the people in my class were doing it just for fun or were thinking about going into the wine industry later. I think working in the industry at the same time was really helpful in terms of putting what I was learning into hands-on. And then also, you know, book learning and what you do in practice is not always the same. So a lot of the classes, the book learning was based on a perfect environment with perfect equipment. And
yeah, that's what I was just going to say, is book learning can't prepare you for the one-off situations.
yeah, you also don't know how much of winemaking actually is, you need to be good at fixing things. There's so much fixing of equipment that needs to happen. So that was, I've always been a little bit of a handy person. I grew up with a single mom, so I feel like I'm a pretty handy person, but this was next level. I've never fixed heavy machinery. So
yeah. Well, when would you have had the opportunity until you did this internship?
Yeah, for sure. So,
and how did you transition from that era where you were like learning and going to school to where you are right now?
So from California, we moved to Washington, and I started working at a winery in the Woodinville area. They've since moved their production to Walla Walla, but I was for Corcilla Cellars, and I loved working for them. They were great. I feel like they really valued me, and both of the guys I worked for were a little bit older than me, and this was their second or third career. So I feel like they also had a perspective in terms of work-life balance and that sort of thing. That was great to work for them. But it felt, so only 10% of winemakers in the U.S. are women. And when I worked at Jessup, as much as I don't think this was purposeful on their part whatsoever, but I was the only woman as part of that team.
Oh, really?
And I definitely felt like I was also the oldest person on that team. I definitely felt like I needed to work harder and constantly be proving that I was not the weakest link in their production team. And I did not feel that way at Patterson. I felt like I did not feel like I needed to prove myself as a female in the wine industry. With them, I had plenty of outside people come in that, one time this guy delivering something walked right past me on the forklift. I'm literally in the middle of driving the forklift. He walked right past me, looked at me, and walked inside to ask Jim, our cellar master, if someone could unload his truck. And Jim just walks out and he's like, "She's on the forklift. Why didn't you ask her?"
Yeah.
So, and I got that a lot, I get a lot of the delivery truck drivers who are giving me direction on how to unload a truck.
You're like, sit down.
Exactly. Just sit down.
Read a magazine. Let me do my work. I think part of it probably at your first place as well, the Jessup place, is also you were new to the industry too. So you probably also had that confidence more in Washington than you did then. But, I mean, we see it all the time. Women always feel like we always have to overcompensate to prove our seat at the table.
Yes.
And it's getting better, but it still happens all
100%,
the time.
100%. I think especially in the last few years, I think I've seen more and more women kind of realizing and shedding that idea that women don't support each other or those types of tropes that are old, and really realizing that we are our best allies and really supportive of each other.
Yeah, well, and I think definitely our generation is changing that narrative. I think like our mothers and grandmothers were just brought up in a society where like that wasn't encouraged, and a lot of us are like, I don't care. My girls are everything. Yeah. I'm showing up for them 100%. Yeah, and sure. We always want to see each other win too.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually just did a wine walk on Sunday on International Women's Day. It was planned by this woman. Her name is Kelly. She owns K. Marie downtown in Milwaukee. And a lot of times wine walks are used as fundraisers for cities, which is great and totally fine. But the people who are pouring for those wine walks, the only money they're making is from bottle sales. They don't actually make any money from the wine walk itself. But most people don't buy bottles at wine walks because they don't want to carry them around, right?
Right.
So you're just...
Especially when you're just starting. You're like, I don't want to carry this all night.
Yeah.
But you might grab a bottle like towards the end or
Yeah.
something. Are you a first-time home buyer? You don't need to be perfect. You don't have to have perfect credit or a giant down payment. You just need a plan and someone that understands the business and how to navigate it. Please reach out. I would love to help you on this home journey.
Yeah. So it's a pretty big cost for wineries, especially because the majority of wineries who are doing those wine walks are small, right? Mm-hmm. So, but this one she wanted to do solely to support women, and so she didn't charge for tickets. So it was 9 women winemakers paired up with 9 women-owned businesses in Milwaukee.
Oh, I love that.
It was great.
I wish I would have known about that.
It was honestly the most fun I've ever had at a wine walk. Mm-hmm. It was so fun. The people coming in were great and supportive and seemed really excited to be participating and supporting all these women. And what was great is before the wine walk started, I had emailed everyone to ask about the pricing for the wine walk. Like, is everyone planning on charging for their tastings, and what is it? And everyone was so collaborative.
Yeah.
You know, they were like, we should definitely standardize this across so no one feels like we're competing with each other. We're just, you know, and it was great.
Or that people have to choose, like, oh, this one's 10, but this one's 5.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll do 2 5s versus a 10.
Yeah.
If
We
you're
just
all
standardized
standard.
it across, and we were all, it was just a very collaborative situation, mm-hmm. whereas I've done other events where I've tried to do that with other business, like other winemakers who are male, and they don't necessarily, they're not as interested in being as collaborative. Not always, obviously. There are lots of men who are super collaborative, but I've just felt like, it was a super collaborative environment, and it was great to participate with them.
Well, and I'm assuming in the wine industry, like the real estate industry, I always say, like, there's enough business to go around.
100%.
And, like, collaboration over competition every day, you guys.
Yeah,
like,
100%.
It makes our jobs so much easier, too,
mm-hmm.
when we collaborate. And I have found, as I've gotten to meet more and more wineries, wine owners, vineyard owners, winemakers, everyone's like, oh, if you like my wine, you should go try so-and-so. Yes. I think you'd really like so-and-so's mm-hmm. variety of XYZ. And I just love that. Yeah. It's so supportive.
Or like, I don't really make a sweet wine, but so-and-so does, so you should mm-hmm. definitely go do that. I've mm-hmm. had people say, you know, so-and-so was thinking about doing a tasting room in Oregon City, but I'm sure you wouldn't like that. No, I would love that.
Right, because two
spots means more people are likely to come down and make an afternoon of it, right? Versus
they can grab lunch next door.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think
verdict, and then come on over. If you just
look at the valley, you know, there's tons of tasting rooms. Mm-hmm. People go out there to do multiple tastings.
Yeah, they make a day out of it, mm-hmm. and it's super fun.
Yeah, I think for sure. I think there's enough business to go around. And
from Washington, when did you plant roots here in Oregon?
We moved here in 21. Yeah, we moved here in 21, and then I started Corcilla in 22.
Okay.
Yeah, so 22 was my first harvest on my own, making all the choices myself.
And when you were looking for a tasting room spot, like, did you kind of always have Oregon City in mind, or did this just kind of happen?
I did, and I don't know why. Like, there was nothing, I hadn't read anything in particular about Oregon City. I had come down here with my sister for some event that was happening downtown and thought that the town seemed really cute. Mm-hmm. And for some reason, I just felt really drawn to this downtown area and felt like it was going to be a good spot for me. Mm-hmm. And then my husband and I actually had come down one day to just peek in the windows of a spot I had seen listed online. And I looked in the window and immediately was like, oh, this won't work. This place is way too big. And started to walk back to the truck, and I walked past this space. There was no sign. It hadn't been listed. It was just, I just noticed it was empty, and I'm like peering in the windows, mm-hmm. and as I'm peering in the windows, I'm getting super excited because the space is perfect. It's so cute. I think it'd be great. Yeah. And this woman walks by and was like, hey, do you want to peek inside? And I turned and look at her. She's like, I'm the one who manages this space. We haven't even listed it yet, but I saw you peeking in, so I thought I'd ask if you wanted to see inside.
Like, do I?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
So she showed me around, and then I put in an offer for the spot, and at first they said, sorry, no, we ended up going with somebody else. But for some reason, I just wasn't worried about it. And then a few weeks later, they contacted me again, and they said, hey, that fell through. Are you still interested? So then I signed my lease, and here we are.
I love that.
Yeah. We did a ton of work in here. It used to be a hair salon. So we painted, we refinished the floor. This building was built like 1890 something. It's really old. So the brick is original, the floors are original. But we redid the floors because they were sad, and painted and built the bar, and separated the little kitchen space from the hallway to the bathroom so people weren't walking through the kitchen to go to the bathroom. And my bathroom, I redid the bathroom quite a bit. It's so cute in there now.
I love it. Well, and I noticed that you're kid friendly too.
Yeah, and dog friendly.
Which is nice because, not that I like take my 10-year-old wine drinking all the time, but when I belonged to wine clubs and stuff, I quit a wine club once because I showed up to pick up with her, and it was like noon on a Wednesday. It wasn't like they were busy. I showed up like right when they opened, and I brought her in with me, and at the time Rylan was 5, and they're like, she can't be in here. She has to wait outside. And I was like, you want my 5-year-old to wait outside by herself? And I was like, well, can you just bring my shipment outside then? And I was like, or can she just stand inside, but just like by the door? Like, I'm not staying. I'm literally picking up something I've already paid for and leaving. And they're like, no, absolutely not. You need to stay in here to get your shipment. She has to stay outside. And I was like, well, while you're pulling up my paperwork, go ahead and cancel my membership. And I was a member all through COVID when they weren't open, picking up my shipment. But I was like, I get rules are rules, and I'm not trying to like break any of the liquor laws and stuff. I was like, it's literally 30 seconds. Or I'll wait outside with her. Can you just walk the paperwork over here? I already paid for it, so it's not like you need money from me. And they were like, no.
It definitely, it definitely depends on your license, but when I applied for my license, it's not really any more work to allow minors than it is to allow minors. The only difference is I have to display a sign that says no minors after 9 p.m.
Yeah.
That's it.
Which makes sense. Why would they be here anyways after 9 p.m.? But just from a perspective of like just stopping in and being like, I just wanted to pick up my wine and not put my child in danger.
Yeah.
And I just happen to with me. I'm not going to hire a babysitter to go pick up my wine club.
Yeah. Shipment. We have quite a few people who come in with their kids, and they just hang out as a family. You know, we've got guess who over there, and the kids just hang out because I feel like this is a nice spot to not be at home, but to just hang out and feel like you're out and feel comfortable. My goal in creating this space was to make it feel like you're in your living room, comfortable, catching up with friends or whatever, for it to not feel pretentious. Yeah. I feel like the wine industry was a little late to pivot in terms of making people not feel dumb about wine drinking. And I think that definitely is changing now, but I think that it took them a little longer than it should have. For sure. Yeah, that was my goal, was to make people feel comfortable and cozy in here. And if that includes needing to come in with your kids, well, then that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, no, my daughter has like favorite wineries because of things that they offer. Like there's one that has like an art corner, and she's like, let's go to the art winery today. Like she'll bring it up to me, and I'm like, oh, okay.
If we have to, I will go drink wine.
I guess. You can go to the art corner. Or, like, different ones that have farm animals. Or there's one winery in Aurora that has boys. Rylan's, like, right in the middle of their boys' age. And they live there because it's their vineyard, too. She calls out the boy winery. She's like, let's go to the boy winery. Maybe they're around. I can play with them outside. Like,
that's really cute. Sure.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, we've been going there for a while. But talk about your different varieties that you offer here.
Yeah, so I do not make Pinot. That was a purposeful decision. I love Pinot. I just feel like there's a lot of it around here, and I didn't need to add to the market. So I source all our grapes. They come from Southern Oregon, Eastern Oregon, and Eastern Washington, so the warmer spots. I also really like crisp whites. So all of my whites are done in stainless steel. I don't oak them all, so oak any of them. So again, I don't make Chardonnay. Not that I have I love both of those varietals. I feel like you can get them a lot of other places.
Totally.
So my goal was to provide some wine varietals that are harder to find, especially in the Willamette area, just because we are so Pinot focused. So I do, I have the sparkling Riesling. I actually just released a new Blanc de Blanc traditional style that actually is made out of Chardonnay. But it's a traditional sparkling wine, which was really fun. I did it. It was all done by hand. So that was a bit of a learning curve, but really fun to do. I do a Sauvignon Blanc, a Viognier, a Rosé of Sangiovese, and that's fun because the majority of the rosés around here are Pinot, so a different kind of rosé. And then some of the bigger reds. So I do a Grenache, a Sangiovese, a Syrah, a couple of red blends that are Bordeaux style. I think that's about it right now.
About it. That was a good list.
That's
that
about
was a
it.
Good list.
Yeah. So I have my Bordeaux style blends are actually part of my Badass Women blends.
I love that. Talk more about that.
Every year I do a new blend and I name it after a new. Let's finish
one.
this and we can drink
I really
some.
Want to try it.
Every year I do a new blend, name it after a new badass lady, and then $1 of those bottle sales goes to the Oregon Girls Collaborative Project, which helps get girls interested in STEM careers. So my first one was Ruth, and then the second one is Betty. So Betty's named after Betty White.
Who was a true badass, for sure.
Oh, for sure. Actually, my sister was the one who wanted to name it Betty, and I at first was a little skeptical because I was like, I love Betty. Obviously, she's hilarious, but I didn't really know how much of a badass she was. Yeah. And then I started doing research, and she was a force. Yeah. She really was. So
also really charitable too. She was a super charitable person, especially towards dog shelters and animals and things.
Yeah, the month we released it, we did a month-long fundraiser for the Oregon Humane Society to go along with the fact that we'd released Betty. So yeah, and Betty's fun because it's has some Petit Verdot in it, which is harder to find around here, and Petit Verdot is such a fun varietal. I love it.
Do you have someone in mind for your next one?
So I've already made Catherine, so I just haven't released it yet. Catherine is a 23. It also is a Bordeaux style blend. Not purposely all Bordeaux style. That's just what I've ended up liking the most when I've been trying to figure out blends. But Catherine is after Catherine Goebel Johnson, who was, if you saw Hidden Figures, she was the one played by Taraji P. Henderson.
Oh, okay.
She's the NASA mathematician in the 60s who helped get all the dudes to the moon.
I love that.
So super smart, very much a badass because she was working as a person of color, a woman of color in NASA in the 60s. So
unheard of.
Unheard of. So super badass. So yeah, and then I'm going to be getting ready to bottle my 24s here soon, so I need to decide who I'm going to be naming my 24 after. My sister, for some reason, thinks that she gets to name the 24s.
That you guys take turns?
That we take turns and every other year, and I'm just like, I'm not sure that's how it works.
We'll see about that.
But I will take her suggestions.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fun because I often, when I tell people about these wines, people have suggestions for me, and my list of women to name wines after is just getting longer and longer. So which is fun.
Well, and I think part of it would have to do too with like the boldness of it, or like what you're like trying to accomplish with it. Like, does it remind you of that woman, or things like that, so you can like speak to it. My brain's all about marketing, so
yeah, for sure.
Like bold Betty.
Bold Betty.
Yeah.
All right. So this is bold. I like to tell people. So Ruth was 50% Merlot and 25 each of Cab Franc and Cab Sauv.
Cab Franc's one of my favorites.
And it was like smooth. It was like it is a super smooth wine. And so I just feel like both of the wines really fit the ladies' personalities. You know, like I feel like Betty is pretty sassy, and I just feel like it fits.
Yeah. I love that. Cheers again.
Cheers.
Know someone moving to Oregon? Send them my way. I specialize in relocation and I'll treat them like family. Plus, you know there's a glass of wine in it for them. Cheers! Oh, hello, Betty. I like that a lot. That's delightful.
Yeah, the Petit Verdot in there is...
Yeah, it gives it an extra little edge, I feel like.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely...
Like a different layer.
I actually just released a 100% Petit Verdot in the fall, and it's one of my favorite wines right now. It's so good.
What is some, or a question I like to ask is when someone has a tasting room, what is some advice you would give somebody that is a little bit timid and was like, I don't want to go in there and look like an idiot because I don't normally go wine tasting or I don't know anything about wine. What would you say to that person?
So again, that was one of my goals, is to educate everyone who works here a ton, so they're super knowledgeable. But also, if you come in and you don't know anything and you just want the very basic info, we can do that. If you don't want to hear from us at all, if you're like, I'm here to catch up with my friend, just pour me wine, totally fine as well. But if you want us to get super nerdy, we will definitely do that with you. But I feel like if you don't know anything about wine, that is fine. Mm-hmm. It's fine. Really, all you need to at the end of the day, all you really need to know is, did I like it or did I not like it?
Yeah. Well, I think sometimes too, people are so worried about being polite that they don't want to be honest with the person pouring the wine. Like, oh, that was a little harsh for me, or oh, that was too sweet. And then there's other people that are like, ah! But it's kind of funny. But I was like, just be honest, because then they can help guide you to the right variety for you.
For sure, yeah. Mm-hmm. Even if they're not guiding. So I feel like if you get to the end of your tasting, you don't know a lot about wine, and you say, I really liked this wine. Can you help me find some other wines like elsewhere that you think would also go with this? Just in terms of, well, yeah, let's pick out what it is that you liked about this wine. Did you like it because it was super fruity? Did you like it,
Yeah, and it's giving them terms, too, to use. Like, well, the next time you walk into a place, just say, I like a fruit forward, a little bit of a sparkle.
Yeah.
And then they'll be able to help guide you with their own wines, too.
Yeah, for sure. You don't need to be able to pick out, this smells of plum and pencil shavings.
Legs for days on this one. Yeah.
You don't need to know those things, and that's okay. And if you go to a tasting room that treats you like it's not okay, then you don't need to give them your business.
Yeah, well, and that's not the room for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. What is on the horizon for you? Do you have some varietals that you're playing with in the back of your mind that you want to try, or some grapes that you want to source?
Yeah, I sourced, for the 24 vintage, I sourced some Dolcetto, which I haven't made before, and I'm very excited about how that's turning out. So I love the Italian and the Spanish varietals. I think they're so fun and delicious. And I also think they're harder to find around here. Mm-hmm. And I love being able to introduce people to varietals that they don't know and kind of expand people's horizons outside of like the couple varietals people know. So,
well, I think that's what's fun about your place too, is that we are known for Oregon Pinot, and we have the best Pinot in the area. But it is nice if you're making a day out of it to have a variety, so you don't get like Pinot blind. Yeah. And so it's also fun because not everybody does like Pinot, and if you're trying to people reach out to me all the time. How I got the name the Realtor Who Wines actually was from clients. They were like, oh, let me call my realtor. She wines. Like, my mom's coming into town. The realtor will know where to go. So they'll call and be like, my mom hates reds. Where should I take her? And for a long time, I'd be like, because there wasn't that many places. And now there's, more places popping up that have more than a red on available. But, I think it's nice to have a variety and something unique that, you can't get everywhere. Yeah. It's super fun.
We focused a lot, especially, the wine industry, as you know, is in a little bit of a funk right now. So we've really tried to pivot a bit and focus on the community. So obviously we have wine here and we want to sell you our wine, but we've been doing a lot of events to just bring people together and to, really be a place for a welcome community here. So we do a lot of events. a lot of really fun ones. We do a drag bingo every once in a while.
I love drag bingo.
It's so fun. We get a ton of great turnout for that, which is just nice to see. And some other really fun events that I just feel like pulls a lot of people in. We've actually have a group of ladies who have become friends just coming here. They didn't know each other before, and now they meet up here all the time.
I love that.
And I really just love the sense of community we've created here. So that's really what I think I'm most focused on, is just continue, especially with everything that's going on right now. It can feel really hard and isolating and exhausting. And I feel like knowing that you have a place where you do feel some community is really, really imperative right now.
Yeah, I agree. And it is nice. I always find a lot of tasting rooms are welcoming and a place of community where people just gather. And there's a couple of us that like to wine and work. And so like we just take our laptops and go sit in a winery and we'll have a glass of wine while we're doing paperwork or whatever. But it's just nice to be like out with the people. Because sometimes just even sitting at your office gets like lonely and kind of boring. It like kills my creativity a little bit. But like coming and sitting in a space like yours that has art and like a lot of vibe going on inside and out, like people walking around, which just like refills my cup while I'm doing stuff. So it's so nice. For sure. And
we also have a few like non-alcoholic options here as well, because we wanted to make sure again that we were welcoming everybody, and you know.
Well, and you have the kiddos that come.
Yeah, also true.
Yeah, you gotta give them juice.
The kiddos love the sparkling cider.
I'm sure. One thing, when I lived in Kansas City for a while, that's why I was asking about Fort Riley or Leavenworth. Too, was the grapes out there. A lot of the wine tasting rooms there do grape juice tasting for the kids. Yeah. And it's hilarious. And it's really just like ocean spray. Yeah. But it's like peach, grape, cran, grape. Yeah. You know, like all the different ones. But it's funny to watch the kids like taste grape juice while their parents are tasting wine. It's like, well, you are just building a clientele for the future. Right? Yeah. But it also
the wines there do not taste much different than the juice tastings.
You go straight from ocean spray to Concord. Yeah. But also it kind of teaches them how to behave in that kind of setting too. Yeah. Like how like, oh, you're doing something and engaging with someone explaining stuff to you.
Yeah,
it's
for
funny.
Sure.
Yeah. I would love to know you talked about where you source your grapes. So you talk a little bit about where you make your wine, because you don't make it here in the tasting room.
Correct.
So a little bit about that process. Yeah. Just a sneak peek. I know it's very intricate, but.
So I recently moved to a new space in North Portland that's pretty close to the airport. It's in like an industrial park types area, so not really a place people would want to go visit necessarily. But I'm making wine so Pam Walden owns Willful Wines, and there were several of us who were making wine in Milwaukee recently, and we unfortunately had to move to new spaces, and Pam was kind enough to make room for me in her space. And
again, women supporting women, collaboration over competition.
Yes, yeah. And she's been great so far. I mean, I've only been in there for a couple months with her, but and she's British, so you know, everything said in a British accent's better.
Oh yeah, it makes everything sound delightful.
It's true.
Yeah.
So even when she's like kind of mad, not at me, but like kind of mad, and she's like swearing, I'm just like,
yeah, I love it. Say more words.
I know.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's I think it'll be a good space for me. I think also Anne from Helioterra moved into her space in the summer, so it's just us three chicas making a go of it. So.
Do you bottle there too?
So probably not. I haven't had the chance to bottle there. It would have to be a mobile bottling truck that came. I was actually looking at that the other day, and I'm not sure where the truck would park, because there's a bunch of other businesses in there too, and I think a truck would block other people's businesses.
Sure.
Most of my bottling gets done at Castile in McMinnville. They have like a bottling company, which I think the majority of people who don't bottle at their winery use Castile.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. They're pretty predominant in the area.
Yeah.
For sure.
They're great to work with, so.
Do you have a wine club that you want to speak to?
Yeah, I do have a wine club. And
I love a wine club.
And it's super easy, too. Our wine club is, like, no fuss. It's like us.
Those are the best.
Like
I
us.
like that.
So it's just twice a year, spring and fall. It's either 3-bottle or 6-bottle. I'm the one who curates it, but if something in your shipment, you're like, I despise Sauvignon Blanc, we're not going to make you take it. You can trade it out.
Yeah.
And yeah, you get 3-bottle members get 15% off all your wine purchases. 6-bottle members get 20% off. And then 3-bottle members, you can do a free tasting once a month for 2 people. And 6 is once a month for up to 4. And first dibs on some of our events. And we've got a few wines that are club only.
Oh, I love that.
Because, you know, like, if you're part of a club, you kind of want to feel like...
you want a little exclusivity.
Yeah, 100%. Mm-hmm. So,
it makes it fun, too, to be like, oh, I belong to the club here. Can you get out the blah, blah,
blah?
It just makes it fun.
It's so true. And the club-only wines I've also made, like, the label is a little bit different. Instead of being white, it's really dark blue. It's like navy blue. Mm-hmm. So it just looks a little bit snazzy. So, also fun.
Well, I have enjoyed being in your space today and hearing more about your story. Thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah,
everything
I
with
appreciate
me.
you
and
coming
for my
here.
Different glasses, both delicious, by the way. I'm loving
Thank
Betty.
you.
This might be my new favorite red for sure.
Thanks.
So thank you so much for being on. Cheers to you. And thank you for listening or watching on YouTube. See you next week. Cheers.
Cheers.